All right, let's get right into it. We're going to do a little forensic audit today on one of the most powerful and honestly most deceptive words in the entire English language, free. Turns out this little four-letter word is basically a glitch in our human operating system, a bug that marketers have gotten incredibly good at exploiting.
I mean, think about it. Why does that word just make the rational part of our brain, well, kind of shut down? We have all been there, right? You're drawn to some offer that, when you look back on it, makes absolutely zero sense. So today, we're going to break down exactly how that little hack works. So there's actually a name for this. It's called the zero price effect. And it works like this. In our minds, the difference between something that costs £1 and something that costs £2, well, it's pretty small. But the difference between £1 and zero? Whoa. Our brain doesn't see that as a small step. It sees it as a massive, incredible gain. And that triggers a huge emotional response that often overrides logic. And you see this play out in the real world all the time. I mean, have you ever waited in a ridiculously long line just to get a small freebie, like a scoop of ice cream? When you do that, you're making an unconscious calculation. If you're willing to wait 45 minutes for something worth £3, you've basically just decided your time is worth £4 an hour. That's how powerful the pull of free really is. Okay, so let's open up our first case file in this audit. We're calling this one the stupidity tax, and it is all about that classic trap, deceptive shipping costs. I promise you, millions of us fall for this every single day. You know the scene. You're shopping online, you found exactly what you want, your cart total is sitting at a nice £42. You're feeling good, you're ready to hit that checkout button, but then you see it. A £7 shipping fee. And suddenly, it feels like a personal attack, doesn't it? It just feels wrong. It feels like you're losing. And your brain instantly flips a switch from how much do I want this stuff to how do I beat this system and get rid of that fee. And this is where that brain glitch kicks right in. To avoid paying that annoying £7, you go back, you browse around, and you find a solution. You toss a 12 pair of socks you didn't even want into your cart just to get over that free shipping line. And for a second, you feel like a genius. You feel like you won. But did you really? Let's just run the numbers here. It's simple math. If you had just sucked it up and paid for shipping, your grand total would have been £49. But by chasing that shiny free offer, your final bill is actually £54. So here's the kicker. You didn't save £7. You actually paid an extra £5 for socks you never wanted in the first place. That £5? That's what we're calling the stupidity tax. It's the premium you pay for letting that emotional desire for free completely override common sense. And you've got to understand, this is not an accident. Retailers know all about this zero price effect. They pore over the data and they set these shipping thresholds with sniper-like precision. They know it's one of the easiest ways to manipulate you into spending more money. They are literally banking on you paying this tax. All right, let's move on. Case file number 2. This one's another classic you'll definitely recognize. Welcome to BOGO's Burden, where buy one, get one free is not quite the gift you think it is. So here is the dirty little secret behind a lot of BOGO deals. It's not about being generous to you, the customer. It's usually a really clever way for them to do some inventory dumping. See, the retailer has a bunch of stuff they can't sell, and they need to get rid of it. So what do? They bundle it as a free gift with something people actually want. Think about this trade-off. The retailer wins, right? They clear out their warehouse, they get to avoid paying storage costs on stuff that isn't selling. But what about you? Well, you've basically just paid to become their off-site storage unit. That free thing now takes up space in your house, it creates clutter, and it kicks off this whole new problem where you have to figure out what to do with something you never even wanted. Now for our last financial case file. And this one plays out just like a horror movie. It's the dark and twisted tale of the 0% financing deal, a trap with some truly terrifying consequences. So the story starts out great. It's a dream come true. You get that brand new sofa and you don't have to pay any interest for 2 whole years. You're being responsible, you're making your payments, you cruise into month 23 feeling super smart. But then, the twist. On the very last day, you accidentally leave a tiny, tiny balance, maybe just £1. And that is when the horror begins. The trap is sprung. The penalty is activated. And here's the truly terrifying part. they don't charge you interest on that last pound. No, they hit you with backdated penalty interest. We're talking rates of almost 30% on the entire original price of the sofa, going all the way back to the day you bought it. Your free financing deal just turned into an absolute financial nightmare.
So up to now, we've been talking about direct hits to your wallet, but the free tax gets way more sneaky in the digital world. This is where we shift from looking at your finances to a business model where you're not even the customer anymore.
You've probably heard this old saying from Silicon Valley, and it is the absolute truth. If you're not paying for the product, then you are the product. This is the entire business model for countless free apps and social media sites. The service they provide isn't what they're selling. Your attention, and more importantly, your data. That's the product. And this is the privacy tax. You're paying, just not with money. You're paying with your personal information. These companies give you these little engineered dopamine hits to keep you scrolling, and in return, they harvest everything they can learn about you. And the consequences are very real. That data can be used to build a profile on you that could one day impact your credit score or even your shot at landing a job. Okay, so that's the audit. We've seen the traps, but here's the good news. Once you know how the hack works, you can build your own defense system. It's all about installing a mental alarm bell that starts ringing loud and clear every single time you see that word free. So here it is, your 3-part consumer defense kit. First, the 24-hour rule. When you're shopping online, just let the stuff sit in your cart for a day. That gives the emotional high from the free shipping offer time to wear off. Second, the total price calculation. For BOGO deals, just ignore the free item. Ask yourself, would I pay this total price for just the one thing I actually want? And third, automate safety. If you ever take one of those 0% financing deals, set up automatic payments to clear the entire balance a full month before it's due. Don't leave anything to chance. So the main takeaway here is really simple. Free is almost never actually free. It's a psychological trigger, it's a tool designed to make you spend more money, give away your personal data, or take on hidden risks. The game is absolutely rigged. But the good news is now you know the rules. So the only real question left is, how are you going to audit the next free offer that gets thrown your way?